So the main talking point for Chat the Championship this week is going to be focusing on Danny Cowley and Nicky Cowley's moves to Huddersfield from Lincoln City, whether that is the right fit. But before we do that, let's talk about the results in the Championship and see what's been going on. And to start that, I want to talk about a result that shocked me. Swansea City have been pretty much unplayable in the first few matches in the Championship. Their last 4 going into this weekend, they had won, and then Nottingham Forest somehow managed to get a win. And not only that, they beat them at their own ground. So Forest, who they've always got the signs of being a very capable squad, but I can never see them kicking on because they either start really well and fall off, or it goes the other way around. They're always solid, but they haven't challenged realistically in a little while now. And for them to get a win at Swansea shows that maybe this season, maybe they're just gonna kick on a little bit. 12 points from 7 games isn't a bad return, and they are well up there. So if they can keep this going on, maybe Forest can be one of those teams up there fighting for those playoffs by the end of the season. Every other result in the Championship this week was kind of what you'd expect, to be honest. So not going to go into those too much. I said in Chat the Championship, I'm not just going to fill it with crap. It's all going to be about the actual stuff you want to hear about in the Championship, and not, oh yeah, we thought these were going to beat them, and they did. Leeds beating Barnsley, who saw that coming? Potentially one that they didn't see coming, that was kind of up in the air because of new manager syndrome. Wednesday, we've got Monk now. Check out my video on Gary Monk if you have not seen it. And Huddersfield, they have got Danny Cowley. I was quietly confident as a Wednesday fan, but I was nervous because you never know with 2 new managers. I rate Cowley. I rate him for what he did at Lincoln. I was kind of nervous about Sunday, but we did it. Wednesday got a 2-0 win, and it was very, very clinical. Absolutely what we've been missing. Wingers that can play down the wing properly and, you know, not always just cut inside. Kadeem Harris goes, does a step over, runs it past, crosses it to Fletcher, gets his head in it, perfect goal to start it off. And then Barry Bannon with an absolutely exquisite cross. Am I Roy Hodgson? And then Barry Bannon with an absolutely exquisite cross to Sam Winnell, who gets his head on it for the second in the second half. The thing is, Huddersfield had a lot of possession, and I was watching it with a Huddersfield fan, as I said I would be. Yes, I got the bragging rights. He was not happy. But they did play well on the ball, but they never looked like they were going to be a team that threatened us. They had one chance that Westwood saved that I was like, oh, that could have gone in if they'd have done a little bit better. We would have got punished there by a slightly better side. But I was quite comfortable, even though they had most of the ball. And our goals came from brilliant bits of play, to be honest. So I was quietly confident going into it, and my confidence grew as we went through it. I wasn't feeling like we were really threatened at all. And does that look bad on Danny Cowley as a manager? I don't think so. I actually really don't. And we'll go into Danny Cowley and the Huddersfield situation now. I just thought it was worth giving Gary Monk a shout. Comes in, we get the win at Huddersfield, newly relegated side. Yes, they're not doing great, but it is the Wednesday way to be a team's rising, basically. After they've had a bad spell of form, we are usually the team that they will get their win. So I'm glad it wasn't. I'm glad we got the win. Now, there's some controversy around Danny Cowley's arrival at Huddersfield. Rumour has it, and I'm not saying this because I'm a Wednesday fan, even though that's all the Huddersfield fans are going to say, is he wanted the Wednesday job. He was waiting for it. Wednesday decided to go in with Monk after Cowley had already rejected Huddersfield the first time. Wednesday decided that instead of going for Cowley, they were going to go with someone with Championship experience. And Monk's record, I have read that there's been some areas of dodginess around Gary Monk, which I'll talk about in the future probably. If you'd like me to make a video on that, guys, let me know. The rumour, and it's a strong rumour, and I've heard this from multiple sources because I've got quite a few people in and around Lincoln that I know as well, that Cowley wanted the Wednesday job. He was waiting for it because he thought he was going to get it, and he thought he was going to go in talks for it, and then we gave it Monk, so he went for Huddersfield. The Huddersfield chairman won't have it like that. That, I don't know for sure. I've heard it from 2 sources that I trust. So, I don't know, make your own mind up on that. But at the end of the day, I think that's realistic. I think at the situations we were in, Huddersfield is an awful job to take at the minute. And Danny Cowley is an amazing appointment for them, given their current situation. Is he the right fit, though? He is the perfect manager for most clubs in a situation where maybe they're struggling, but they're struggling due to sort of lack of maybe ability, not Huddersfield's situation where I think it's a lot of Premier League ego. I think it's a lot of the relegated side. They got battered last year. They did not have a good relegation season. Obviously, you never really have a great relegation season, but Huddersfield were god-awful last season. And then they're being god-awful in the Championship. Heads have gone. You've got players that are now expecting Premier League football. You've got the attitudes. You've got all that to deal with. And what Cowley's meant to be really good at is man management, that side of things. And I think obviously that is great if you can do it. But you have got divas and egos in that squad that might not respect him because he's not managed at this level before. That is my concern. That is why I think he might not be the right fit in those terms. Everything else about him, yeah, Huddersfield have made a great appointment. I actually think if his man management can extend to dealing with those egos and he can get on top of it, sorted, you've got a manager there. He's shown he can do it in the lower leagues. He's got a track record of having great seasons at the lower leagues and the Championship. Obviously, the bottom end of the Championship is where Huddersfield are currently sitting, not too far off where he was getting Lincoln, which is why I think it's a weird move, to be honest. It is probably the rumoured sort of 10 times his salary, because why would you leave that Lincoln job when you would possibly bring Lincoln up next season? Huddersfield have got the resources, though, and if he can stabilise them and have funds to spend, it would be interesting to see what Danny Cowley could do. Just look at what Danny Cowley's done at Lincoln. He brought them from the National League into the Football League. He got them to a quarter-final of the FA Cup as a non-league team, which had not been done since something stupid like 1914 or 1913 or something I was reading. Not only that, but he got them to League One and the EFL trophy win, which is, for the lower leagues, you can't really ask for a better manager than that. So Huddersfield, if you're going down, is bringing you back up at least, if you don't sack him first, which, given Premier League egos, it could happen. His win percentage with Lincoln was around 53%, and before that I think it was around 50. So he's been on the higher end of win ratios. And I know that's lower league, but if you think about it, lower league is more matches as well. There's a lot more matches played down there, so his ratio gets more impressive with the tools he had at his disposal. Because he's shown that he can do so much with little. I think that's why Huddersfield have gone for him, because Huddersfield, they can't spend money like they could have done in the Premier League, because I don't think that even they think they're going to be able to bounce back up. I think they see the problems they've got in the club. They can't go spending ridiculous money. They've actually got to shift players on now, move players on, get them off the wage budget, because it's going to be an issue for them. And I really hope Danny Cowley, because I rate him as a manager and I've heard he's a really nice dude, I hope he can get control of those egos and be the man manager that he has been in the lower leagues. I hope he can do that with Huddersfield. And I'd like to see him as Wednesday manager, to be honest. Not right now, probably, which is probably why we've not gone for him. We need something a little bit more immediate, which is why Gary Monk is a better appointment, I think, at the minute. Whereas Danny Cowley could really take Huddersfield and shape them and have them structured and be a stable club in the future, which I think is the best bet for Huddersfield at the minute. So yes, I do think he's the right fit in so many regards, other than the variable, which could be the curveball of will the egos dominate a man that's not had Championship experience. Okay, it's that time of the episode to do the score prediction league thing, which I still haven't named. This week, taking up the challenge and going into the league is that other drummer. His first prediction was a 2-2 draw between Fulham and West Brom. That was a 1-1 draw, so that is a correct prediction, not an exact to start though. We have got Luton beating QPR 2-1 away from home. That is quite an ambitious prediction there, and it didn't happen. QPR beat Luton 3-2 at home. Oh, he's gone for some ambitious ones here. Reading beating Middlesbrough. That didn't happen either. Middlesbrough got the win at home 1-0. He thought Blackburn would draw with Millwall 1-1. It didn't happen. Blackburn actually beat Millwall 2-0. Millwall are going to struggle this season by the looks of it. He predicted that Hull would beat Wigan 1-0, where that was a 2-2 draw. He predicted that Bristol would beat Stoke. Is water wet? Oh, God, Stoke. Bristol beat Stoke 2-1 away from home. Stoke potentially really going down. This is an issue. He predicted Swansea to beat Forest. I think most of us did, but Forest beat Swansea, as I was saying earlier. He predicted Preston to lose against Brentford. Didn't think that was happening. I've always said Brentford are a solid side, but Preston at home, I would have fancied them there, and they did win 2-0. He predicted Charlton to draw with Birmingham 2-2, where Birmingham actually got quite a surprise win, to be fair, at Charlton, because Charlton have been playing really well this season. Are the wheels going to come off now? Losing at home to Birmingham isn't ideal. He predicted Wednesday to beat Huddersfield 1-0. We beat them 2-0. Correct prediction, not exact, but I think that was actually quite a brave prediction going into that. And he predicted Leeds to beat Barnsley away from home 3-0. That is a correct prediction. Not an exact, they only beat them 2-0. Wasn't quite the battering, but not a bad showing there. Let's top that up now. So that other drummer joins our league table with 4 correct predictions. Not exact this time, but 4. Not a bad amount of predictions. To be honest, I think if I ever entered this league, which I might do one week, I wouldn't be as high as you guys. I get a little bit over ambitious with certain teams. If you'd like to join in, guys, keep an eye on the community tab available for my subscribers for templates that go up when I am asking for it. Also, make sure you are following my Twitter at dexteritybox and my Instagram at dexteritybox, because stuff about it goes on there, as well as other stuff relating to the channel. That's how I get you guys involved across social media. My community tab's a big one at the minute, using that as well. But for now, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, do all those things, and keep watching right here on Dexterity Box.